Did you know that the best thing you can do to improve your skills is... What's up guys, Bryce here, and today I'm gonna be breaking down 3 calisthenics mistakes that are literally killing your progress even though you don't know you commit them. And this information that I'm going to drop in this video is some information that I haven't even seen that much in social media, but that has been literally a key in my personal progress in the last years, making me achieve advanced skills like the planche, the front lever, the handstand push-up, 90-degree push-up, one-arm handstand. And first of all, before explaining the 3 mistakes, I want to say that there is no perfect training method nor a wrong training method. So only a good planification for months and months of hard and consistent work will get you the results you want. What I mean that is you don't have to obsess over which method is best or worst, because this will only lead you to overthinking and constantly change your plan because you think you found something better. And if you're doing this, you literally are not giving enough time to your body to adapt to the stimulus you're giving to it. So be sure you stay with the same training method for a couple of months at least, check what the results were, and then compare and see if it's worth it changing the training method. So let's go with the first mistake, and this first mistake is the lack of intensity. I know for a fact that your trainings include 20 or even more sets. Did you know that the best thing you can do to improve your skills is to train with high intensity and not that much volume? Say for example that you want to get the straddle planche. Like, it's a typical thing that every beginner calisthenics athlete wants to achieve. And your plan to get that straddle planche is to spam tack holds for 13 plus seconds. So you basically want to waste your time, I understand. What you must do is, if you are starting for the tack planche, aim to master the dynamic exercises, I mean the press and the negative, and once you can press from tack planche to handstand comfortably, just go to a more intense progression. And this more intense progression is obviously the advanced tack hold, and you could even hold it with a light elastic band, and that will make a lot more for your progress than just holding the tack planche. And this principle basically applies to all the skills, so just don't stay in one skill because it's your comfort zone, and try increasing the intensity of the exercise you're doing. In summary, intense and short holds will make a lot more for you than just a high volume easy training. And now let's go with the second mistake. This one goes hand in hand with the previous one, and it is training with a very low frequency. When it comes to calisthenics skills, your body will adapt to a given movement if you do it enough times. So your body will adapt to some stimulus if you give your body that stimulus with enough frequency. Check the approach of some of the pro athletes. When they wake up, they literally do a morning activation and they make sure that their nervous system is ready to planche and front lever just from the moment they're waking up. Now check this clip of one of the most advanced calisthenics athletes in statics, Ilyes.
Côté mental, au côté mindset. Et en fait, mon corps, ça fait 8 ans qu'il pratique tout le temps les mêmes mouvements. Donc par exemple les pull-ups, les full push-ups, les choses comme ça. Et en fait, ça fait partie de moi. Et dans ma tête, je me dis, c'est comme si j'effectuais de la marche. Je me conditionne comme ça. Je me dis par exemple une front lever pull-up, genre là j'en fais une. En fait, pour moi, ça fait partie de moi.
Comment que t'es arrivé à cette...
Bah, c'est à force de répéter les mouvements, j'ai tellement bouffé de full push-up, de front lever pull-up, des choses comme ça, que maintenant c'est devenu un peu un automatisme. Et le matin, je m'échauffe un petit peu pour activer, mais du coup je m'entraîne aussi le matin et ça me permet d'activer un peu mon corps pour le training de l'après-midi, tu vois.
Donc tu as 2 trainings par jour?
En ce moment, ouais, ça dépend des périodes.
La fréquence de ton entraînement te permet de t'entraîner comme ça?
Oui, forcément ça a été de l'entraînement aussi pour en arriver là.
To achieve this level of mastery one day, you must train your skills with enough frequency. You've probably heard this bodybuilding rule that you mustn't train the same muscle group more than 2 times per week. This is totally wrong for calisthenics. This is because they are just searching for muscular growth and we're searching for the adaptation of the nervous system. But hey, I'm not saying that you can't progress with just training frequency of 2 days a week. Especially if you're beginning with a skill, you could even progress on only just 1 day of training per week. But when you get to a point where your ligaments, joints and muscles are adapted to the basic movements, you can go on and start adding more frequency to your training. If you have reached this level of adaptation where you are no longer a very beginner, I would recommend to train your front lever, your planche, or in general your skills a minimum of 3 times a week. And if you manage to control the volume, you could even train them together. You can do push and pull in the same session, and yeah, that's not a crazy thing to do, and that's a key to progress. I have to say, I even know pro athletes that train 5 or 6 times a week the same movement, being this movement planche or front lever. Of course, if you're not this advanced, just don't do it because your body will basically crash, but you get my point. And there's also another option to train with enough frequency, and this would be greasing the groove, and this method really works wonders. You can see advanced athletes like Levan doing this method, and what you can do is basically each day when you wake up, warm up very well, and then do a couple sets, like 2, 3 or 4 sets of planche and front lever, and these sets have to really be intense. This will be the key to adapt your nervous system to this movement. And then in the evening you can do your normal training, aim for 12 to 18 sets, and the first of them being more intense and specific, and then progressing to less specific and less intense training sets. You could even do elastic band conditioning in the end of your training, or just some basic reinforcement. If you follow this method, you'll see that your skills will skyrocket. And let's go now with third mistake, and it's underestimating the power of resting. So there are really 2 types of rest in calisthenics. The first of them is the rest you do between sets. So say for example that you are going to perform a planche. What is the ideal amount of minutes that you should rest after that planche and before your next planche attempt? So this is a question not a single coach can answer exactly, because only you know when your body is prepared to do the next set. You have to test different amounts of rest and then find your answer. And take into account that you don't want to build up your resistance, because the thing you want is to increase your maximum strength. You want to go from tuck planche to straddle planche, from straddle planche to full planche. So you don't want to build resistance. You should be wanting to train with the proper intensity, and this means you don't have to rest 2 to 3 minutes. Just forget about that. I would say the bare minimum for you to really recover between sets is 4 minutes if you're really training with the proper intensity, and if the intensity is very high, this could go up to 5, 6, 7 or even more minutes. Your goal should be to reach the next set as recovered as possible. You have to think that your muscles store ATP inside them, and when you do a very heavy set, this energy is going to be depleted. So you have to rest enough time for this energy to replenish itself. And furthermore, you're giving a very high intensity to your central nervous system, so you have to let it recover. My point is just not to follow a predefined routine that has some rest times, because then you start chronometering that rest times, and if you don't fulfill that rest times, you start feeling bad with yourself, and you literally will be doing nothing wrong, resting more than that pre-established times. You're just giving your body enough time to rest. And the second type of rest is the one associated with recovery between training sessions. This could be summed up in getting your sleep, your nutrition, and some massage therapy. Regarding your sleep, you should aim for a minimum of 7 hours of sleep, but this obviously depends on each individual. But you could go for 8, 9 hours or even more hours of sleep, depending on the amount of physical activity that you've done that day, and obviously on how tired you're feeling that day. I would also recommend to establish a regular sleeping scheme, so just going to bed at the same time every day, because I find it better for recovery, to be honest. And about nutrition, I could really do a whole video about this, so tell me in the comments if you would be interested. But in short, I would just fulfill these requirements. So first of all, I would aim for 2 grams of protein per kilo of body mass, then 1 gram of healthy fats per kilo of body mass, and fill up the rest of your calories with carbohydrates, depending on your goals. So basically drop weight or gain weight. I would center my carbs near my workouts, especially fast digesting carbs like fruits, like honey before my workouts, and then some slow digesting carbs like rice, like pasta, like potatoes after my workouts, or 3, 4 or 5 hours before my workouts. Of course, I'm leaving a lot of information in the tank, and this is just basic nutrition information, so stay tuned for a possible calisthenics optimized nutrition video. Finally, about massaging and stretching, I would recommend getting the holy trinity of calisthenics, and as you can see, this would be the massage gun, the massage ball, and our cheeky foam roller. So what these guys will do for you is basically improve your blood flow, so that will lead to a better recovery. I have to warn you not to use them if you have inflammation on a particular muscle, because this could increase inflammation, and I'm speaking from experience. And an easy way of reducing inflammation would just be doing light cardio sessions, like light running or just walking literally, because this won't impact your performance and will lead only to benefits. So guys, this is basically the end of the video. I hope you learned something valuable from it, and be sure that I have plenty more information on the tank ready for more videos, so make sure to stay tuned, subscribing to the channel. If this video helped you, drop a like and leave a comment saying what was your biggest struggle on calisthenics, and subscribe for more advanced training tips. Catch you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.
Baby, can you move around the rhythm so we can get with